Chris Caputo, and we got to know Coach Caputo when he was a young buck, like 24 years old, coaching on Larranaga's staff. I didn't realize that. I guess time flies, and you don't think about things. So you started, with on Larranaga's staff as video coordinator and worked your way up. At what age did you start? Were you 23? You played 4 years of college basketball, and then you.
Yeah, I got there in June of 2002, so I was 22 at that time. So, basically, I told people I was at George Mason 9 years. I did 11 years spring break in Miami and then came back to D.C.
Yeah, how was the run at Miami? I mean, you got a Final Four there. Larranaga's done fantastic. You get tournament a bunch of years.
Yep. Yeah, my last year we lost in the Elite Eight to Kansas, and then they got rid of me, sent me to GW, and they made the Final Four last year. So they figured it out there. But luckily, I would have felt really, really bad and sour, but I got the 2006 Final Four at George Mason. So at least I have a Final Four ring. Hopefully we can get a few more.
Right. And tell us about your first year at GW. You guys finished 500. You were 10-8 in the conference. I think finished sixth. I think that's a solid first year.
Yeah. Well, you guys know, you're familiar with the GW program as others are in the area. From 91 to 2016, they've been to 17 postseasons in 25 years, including Sweet 16, NIT championship, top 10 finishes in the country. And yet when I got the job, it just had been 6 years of being stagnant, hadn't had a winning record, hadn't had a winning record in the league. And so for year one, to go 500, to have a winning record, Atlantic 10, finishing the top half of the league, I thought, that was a good step forward. And again, a lot of work to do, but a good step in the right direction in year one. It helps you sell the vision a little bit when maybe people believe that you might have some idea about what you're doing.
And then you got a great story this year. I mean, kind of about Garrett Johnson, right? Local
incredible
kid who's been dealing with like a tumor on his hip, which apparently is not cancerous, but it was huge and it could impact his ability to walk.
Yeah, it caused a lot of pain.
I mean, it just sounds like a nightmare. Yeah. And meanwhile, he's been balling out for you.
It's great. Yeah, he played at Oakton High School in Northern Virginia, and then Episcopal, and now Patrick, high school coach that people know. And, he signs with Princeton. I thought he was going to be a great player for Princeton. And yet he winds up with this tumor on his hip, and scary stuff, obviously, for him and his family. It was non-cancerous. It was benign, but he had to have 9 rounds of chemo to get rid of it. And really had to leave Princeton and just deal with it. Kind of outside of the basketball, outside of school, and just attack that thing and his health. And in the spring, this past spring, he had decided that, he was going to, transfer. And we took a little bit of leap of faith with his health. I think he took a leap of faith with us, and it's worked out. It's not a surprise how well he's played. We just wasn't sure how long it would take for him to be healthy. But he's a really good player.
How old is he? He's like 6'7",
he's
6'8".
An older. Yeah, he's 6'8". I mean, he's really athletic. He shoots it. He's obviously an older freshman, right, because of what he's been through. But a guy's going to have a chance to play basketball for a long time. And I told him, scoring 21 points in his first game and winning Rookie of the Week and all that is where you get the attention. But I think we all know, hey, you come off something like that and you just get on the court, that's a huge win. And it's what's been cool is I think a lot of people, kids, they've reached out to him via social media just saying how inspiring it was because they're dealing with something similar. So I think he feels that.
Coach Caputo, I'm looking at your roster. You may have racked up some big recruiting bills. You have guys on the roster from Germany, Nigeria, Australia, and from Great Britain. And you're going everywhere to find players.
That's what they tell you. The day you get the job at GW, every person says, "Oh, you got to be international," because of the school and the history, and obviously it's been done there with a lot of really good international players. So yeah, we have one of my assistant coaches has really stamped a ton of passports. He's like, lifetime platinum, status everywhere because of all the international travel he's done.
You know, we did a segment earlier on the show, and I'm not saying that he deserves to be in the top 10 athletes of DC right now, but we don't often talk about like the leading scorers in college basketball as being really well known. So tell us about James Bishop. Scored 17 in your win against Hofstra. He's a stud.
Yeah, guys, I would think he's in the top 10 of athletes in DC right now. He was first team all-league, and he's got a chance to be the all-time leading scorer at GW. He's from Baltimore originally, Mount St. Joe's, went to LSU, and now has been here a number of years. He's a fun guy to watch. He's the first player since 2003 last year to get 20-plus points, 5-plus assists in the Atlantic 10. Got a chance to be player of the year. And I think he can leave a legacy if we can have a great year.